Okay. I didn't really hear the noise on that, so let me. Okay, now, again, as we go through these, all right, this should be pretty simple. All right, so here we go. Let's start with 73. A line passing through the origin has a slope of 1/7. Which of the following points is on the line? Go. I don't care. Obviously what?
B.
Yeah, some people say B, but obviously D, correct? All right. Now, one thing everyone in here should be able to do is at this point, because it goes through the origin, remember that means it goes through the point 0, 0. All right, which means they tell you the slope and they give you the y-intercept. Everybody should be able to just say, well, that's just 1/7 x. All right, everybody should have been able to write. That's just the equation, y equals 1/7 x. Now, if I plug what points in, will it be on that line? Obviously, 14.2, right? 14.2. Anybody have any questions with that? A lot of people miss that on the test.
How did you solve that again? You just like plugged in points?
No. Do you understand the equation of the line is y equals 1/7 x?
Yeah.
Okay, so now these points, what point is on there? Well, if you plug 0 in, that's not going to work. If you plug 1 in, it's not going to be 7. If you plug 7 in, it's not 7. It must have been 14.2. Right, Harrison? Yes, kind of. That makes me feel much better. Thank you. Yes, kind of. If you plug 14 in for x, what's 1/7 times 14?
2.
So that's how I know that point's on the graph.
Okay.
The other points don't work. Do you understand that?
Oh, I get it. Okay.
All right, here we go. Now, again, this is just reviewing all the information that you should know. All right, so the y values represent the what? The cost. And the x represent the what? The hours. Everybody needs to make sure that when you're looking at the graphs, you look at the y-axis and the x-axis. That gives you a lot of information. What does the C-intercept represent? What?
The initial cost.
Yeah, you guys, that's really good. All right, the initial cost. All right, the y-intercept. Initial means at the beginning. At the beginning is when time is what? 0. So most of the time, the C-intercept is called the y-intercept, right? So the y-intercept is when time is 0. All right, does that make sense for people? Again, I'm trying to help you go through some of the word problems that you're going to see on the SATs. All right, and if you learn how to read them now, your score is going to be great. All right, now let's look at 75. Now 75 is the same question. So it says, which of the following represents the relationship between H and C? All right, now what's the y-intercept of this guy down here? Of the line? 5, right? So we know it can't be what? It can't be A and D. Thank you. All right, now I need everybody to think carefully because everyone missed this on the SAT, believe it or not. So somebody tell me what the answer is. B, what did you think? B, what did you think? Why C?
Because on every point it's like 0, 5, 0 times 3 is 0 plus 5 is. Doesn't really make sense.
What's the slope? Up how many? Now let me make sure you're with me now, because this is something I don't like what the SAT does. I went up how many? And then I went over how many? I went over how many? 1. You see what I'm saying? Everybody put 3/4. Right? Everyone put 3/4. And that is something I just disagree with about the SAT, how that's not really math. Big deal. So you can trick me on the scale. All right. But I'm telling you, that's a big deal on the SAT test. And when we have a little test on Friday, a couple of them are going to be like that, where if you don't read carefully, you're going to make a mistake and you're going to say, I knew that. All right. So I'm trying to tell you right now, that's urgent. We didn't go over 4, we went over how many? We went over 1. All right. So make yourself a note. All right. Make yourself a note. That's a common error. So again, the correct answer was C. All right. And I just didn't really like that question that much. All right. So here we go again. So now for question number 76, what is the Y-intercept? Somebody look at that. 1. Right now, please tell me if you don't understand what I'm saying. The Y-intercept is obviously 1, right? Anybody have an issue with that? So because we know the Y-intercept is 1, I like to cross out what? B and D. Now you have to do is just calculate the slope. And the slope in this case is what? 3, right? Again, I think that was pretty easy. Yes.
Why could the Y-intercept be 4?
What's the Y-intercept? The Y-intercept is where it crosses the Y-axis. All right, number 77. All right, I don't even know why that's on the SATs, but that's an SAT question. All right, what is the answer? We went down 2, correct? And then we went up 3 over 1. Yep, hard to believe it's that easy on the SAT. It really is. All right, flip the page. Or I'm sorry, 78. All right, let me give you a minute. I'm going to pause. All right, I want everybody to calculate this real quick. All right, so tell me the slope is what? 5 over 4. Now what? Not even close. Not even close. This is not the Y-intercept. The Y-intercept has an X value that's 0. Tell us, please. Oh, yeah. Actually, B is 2. How did you do that?
X between 8 and 12 is 4, so to get 0 on X minus by 8 and minus 7 by 10 is 5.
Right, okay, that's really smart. All right, so listen to what she did. All right, there's math, and then there's just logic. All right, the slope is 5/4, right? So that means this is going to be 4, and this is going to be 7. And then the next point is 0 and 2. How do we do that? I just backed up 5, right? And I backed up 4, because that's what the slope is. So now we know that B is what? 2. So now it's just what is 5/4 plus 2. And of course, 2 is the same as how many fourths? 8. So that equals what? Say it, go ahead. 13 over 4. That equals 13 over 4. That was the answer. All right, anybody have any issues with that now? All right, now, of course, if you wanted to, you could have said, let's just use point slope form and say y minus 12 equals 5/4 times x minus 8 and go from there and convert it to y equals mx plus b. All right, now I want to remind you, I also taught you last year how to use your calculator. So we're going to practice using the calculator right now. All right, so everybody grab their calculator real quick. And I'm going to review with you how your calculator is super powerful. And I know it's going to take some time, right? But the repetition of this is important. All right. So has everybody got their calculator out? Here we go. So to do this, the calculator can write the equation for you. So the first thing you need to do is you need to hit stat. All right, don't ask me where the stat button is. It's spelled STAT, right? You can find it. It's one of those buttons. Then after you hit stat, there's a menu that comes up. We want to edit first. Now, when you hit edit, L1, L2, L3, those lists come up. Does anybody remember what L1 represented from last year? And what does L2 represent? Yes, but let's say it correctly. L1 is the what? X, and L2 is the, so under L1, I need everybody to put 8 and 12. James, you okay, buddy?
Yeah, mine's just dead.
Okay, well, I used to have a charger, so I'll help you get it charged up today. All right, and then under L2, everybody is typing in the what? The Y values, correct? So now, once you type that in under the Y2, go plug that into the charger back there. All right, now everybody needs to hit the stat button again. Now we're going to calculate. So you go over to calc, and then we want the line. So if you go down, I think linear regression is number 4, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Yeah.
Then hit enter. And then hit enter all the way through, and it should tell you then what the slope and what the y-intercept is. Anybody have any issues with that?
What do we do after?
I said enter all the way through after you go to calc. Then you go down to line, then you hit enter all the way through. Anybody not get that on your calculator? It's a really cool way to help you work quickly, and even on your test, check your answers on your test this Friday. All right, you're going to have to show me the work, but you can check your answers and make sure you're right. What? What do you want me to go over?
After stat.
So after you hit stat, did you enter L1 and L2? So now you hit go over to calc. And then you go down to number 4, which is linear regression. Yes, you do. All right, hit stat button. Then you got to go over to calc. And then go down to 4 and hit enter all the way through. Anybody else having trouble with writing the equation of a line? Is it not working, James?
It's not fitting in like that. It's not fitting in.
All right, just set it there. I'll get it for you. Or I'll see if I can anyway. All right. So hopefully that was good. All right, now let's take a look at 79, 80, 81. I want everybody to take a look at 79, 80, 81. I'm going to pause the video real quick, and then I want everybody to try those 3 problems. All right, here we go. All right, so let's see how we did here. So number 79, it says the population K years after 1962 was 48, and K satisfies the equation above. Which of the following is the best interpretation of 61? Someone tell me what 61 is. Go ahead. Tell me, Aiden.
I got D.
What?
I got D.
D?
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Mhm.
Right, because we know it's a slope, correct? Listen to what I'm saying now. Does everybody agree? This is just the equation of a line right here, right? You can see the slope and y-intercept. Is everybody okay with that? So 61 would be considered the slope. So because it's slope, that means something has to be increasing or decreasing in this case. Does everybody agree? And the only one that says decrease is what? D. Does that make sense? All right, you guys are kind of quiet, so making me nervous that you guys not understanding this. All right, let's look at 80. What's the answer? So far I have a C. Anybody else? D, good. Anybody else? Anybody? So in the XY plane, the graph of L has a slope of 3. Line K is parallel to L. Which N contains the point 3, 10. Which of the following is the equation of K? Wow, that was depressing. L has a slope of what? 3. Line K is parallel, so that means it must have the what? So it's not what? It's not A or B. All right, now remember, this right here is not the y-intercept. So you can just write it as y minus 10 equals 3 times x minus 3. Everybody good with that? And then we just distribute and add 10, right? So whoever said D. Is that correct? Because that would be y minus 10 equals 3x minus 9, add 10, y equals 3x plus 1. All right, I'm happy with that. Okay. Which of the following is close to the difference between the actual number of home runs and the numbers predicted? Maren, what? So far we got a C. Anybody else? Is that correct? Right, because we want 19 what? What year? Yeah, 2003. So we're talking about this right here. Does everybody agree? So this dot is the what? Actual, but the line is the line is the predicted. All right, that's the predicted. So we're looking at these 2 points. Does everybody agree? Yeah. What? Yeah. All right. I think that bug is gone. You want someone to go with you? Okay. If you don't come back, we'll come looking for you. All right. 82, here we go. All right, so now we're going to practice with our calculator. Write the equation quickly. Everybody write the equation with their calculator. First thing you do is hit what? Stat. All right, then L1 and L2 come up. Type in the values. Come on, I want everybody to be quick. I want everybody to be quick. Then you hit stat again, slide it over, go down to number 4, hit enter all the way through. Practice, practice. And y equals 2x plus 3. Y equals 2x plus 3. Is he correct?
Yeah.
Right. Now remember, they're asking h of 8. All right, so if they're asking for h of 8, what do I have to do now? Yes, thank you very much. You're just plugging 8 in for x. Thank you for that. So your final answer here is what? Yes, you forgot to add 3. It's not a big deal. 19. All right, anybody have any issues with that? All right, what are you thinking here, guys? Everybody okay with it being B? Now, if you wanted to, you could type these on the calculator as well. Do you agree? But I would think you would be able to tell me this, guys. Please look up because I want to show you something. I'm looking for the slope, right? So from here to here is about how much? $10, right? And the change is also what? So we know it had to, the slope had to be about what? About what? Come on now. The change here was $10, right? The change here was what? 10. So the slope is in fact what? 1. Right? Because slope, remember, is change in y over change in x. So we know it's approximately 1. So right off the bat, we know it's not C or D. Everybody agree? So now the question is, does it start at $12 or does it start at $0? Yeah, has to be B. Anybody? Not sure about that? Anybody? All right. Here we go. Let's try the next one. What?
I got 1/2.
Anybody else? Is that a problem? 1/2? Anybody?
How do you get that?
How do you find the X-intercept?
Like, why is here?
Okay, there you go. All right, here we go with 85. All right, I'm going to put it on pause. Let everybody, I want everybody to try the last, whatever, 5 problems real quick. All right, I'm going to put it on pause and then we'll discuss. All right, so if you understand the answer, then I don't feel it's necessary to do the problem. All right, so Nate, did you get anything for 85? No? What did you get? Not sure? What? A C so far? You got C? All right, so now it says that how much greater is the height with a base diameter of 5 and a base diameter of 2? So here, if I'm not mistaken, is 2 and here is 5. You with me? Now I'm just trying to say, if you don't know, now's the time. Let me know. So at 5, it's going to be what? And at 2, it's going to be, so the difference is 21. Guys, anybody? That's easy enough now, right? All right, let's try the next one. 1.88. I want everybody to tell me, what does 1.88 represent? The slope. That means it has to have something to do with what? Increasing, right? Because it's positive. So which one says something about increasing? B and C. So D and A are out. That's how you do this. Uh-oh. So B, C, and D are all increases. Thank you. So now 1.88 goes with what letter?
32. Oh.
Everyone says 1.88 goes with what letter? But they are sadly what? They are sadly mistaken. 1.88 goes with what? H. What number goes with L? No. What number goes with L? Delta H over delta L. That would be considered the slope. What number goes with delta H? 1.88. What goes with delta L? 1. All right. That's how I want you thinking about it. Then the problem is easy. All right. Everybody looks at 1.88 and says that goes with L because it's red 1.88 L. Is that true? No, it's not true. 1.88 goes with the change in what? H. And what is H? The height. And the change in L is the femur. So someone tell me what that is. The approximate increase in the man's height for every 1 inch. Correct answer, D. All right, flipping the page. Which of the following graph has no solution? Everybody knows that one, of course. What is it? Tell him, James. Has no solution. Tell him, Marin. Why? They're parallel. Parallel lines have no solution. Parallel lines have no solution. C is what? Infinite number of solutions. B is how many solutions? 1. D is how many solutions? 2 solutions. All right, why is there two solutions? They intersect twice. Thank you. All right, so again, not much, but I do want to go over 88 and 89 tomorrow to be sure. All right, I will collect these tomorrow. All right, I want it all finished, all done, all 89 problems.
That Thursday's